A lot of brothers and sisters are searching spiritually right now. So I just want to give you a couple of points. I'm still a baby in the study of African spirituality. I am still a baby, a beginner in the study of African spirituality, which I've been studying for 16 years. Okay, 11 years formally, but 16 years in total, which is just a drop in the bucket. I'm a baby in it, but I want to give you some of my wisdom as I have learned it and experienced it. Couple things. Number one, you need to understand that your current religious foundation may have been a bridge for you and not a destination. Let me say that again. You need to understand, overstand, and understand that your current religious foundation may have been a bridge for you and not a destination. I need you to understand that. For some people, the church is a bridge. It gets you from where you were and takes you to where you need to continue. For some people, church will be a home. They'll always be there. They don't need any other spiritual power in their life. It's enough for them, and that's fine. For some people, the masjid is a destination. Some people will be Muslim forever, and that's great. For other people, it's not enough. For other people, Islam is a bridge that carried them from where they started to where they need to continue. For me, Islam was a bridge. For me, Christianity was a bridge. I was raised on those religions, and they took me from where I was as a child to where I needed to continue as an adult. Once that religion took me as far as it could, I have to get off of that ship, and I had to take another ship to continue taking me to where I need to go. Do not feel bad that you are questioning your religion. Do not feel bad that you are questioning your religion. The fact that you are questioning means your spirit is trying to wake you up to the reality that you need more, that there's more to the spiritual universe than what you have been introduced to. There's more to the spiritual universe than what you have been introduced to. The Quran is a beautiful book. I've read it cover to cover several times. I have no problem with it. The Bible is a beautiful book. I've read many chapters of the Bible. But guess what? Those books do not contain the A to Z of spirituality. Those books do not contain the Alpha and the Omega of all things spiritual. I respect the religions. I have no problem with the religion. I wouldn't have a problem joining an African-centered church with a black Jesus. I wouldn't have a problem joining an African-centered masjid. No problem with the religion. But I don't want my people feeling constrained and constricted by the boundaries imposed upon them by these man-made religions. Which takes me to my next point. No religion. Instagram is messing with my sound. Let me know if y'all can hear me. Can you hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. I logged out and logged back in. Can you hear me? Thumbs up, thumbs up. Can y'all hear me? Can you hear me? Thumbs up, thumbs up. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? That's Instagram. Instagram is silencing my messages. Instagram is silencing my messages. So let me go back to this. Every religion was created by man, inspired by God. The man was inspired by God, but the religion was created by men. Okay? The tenets of Christianity were formed and fashioned after Jesus was gone. The tenets of Islam were formed and fashioned after Muhammad was gone. They did not create the structure and institution of the religions that they inspired. They came later. And anybody who doesn't know that doesn't know the history of their religion. Okay? Now, It went quiet again. Can y'all hear me? Thumbs up. Okay, y'all can hear me? Okay. So, with that being said, I would encourage everyone to study African spirituality. Your children will have no choice at FDMG. I encourage everyone to study African spirituality. Your children will have no choice at FDMG because African spirituality is a class at FDMG that every child must take. The reason you have to get into African spirituality is because African spirituality offers things that the religions do not offer. African spirituality offers things that the religions do not offer. African spirituality offers things that the religions do not offer. Number one, African spirituality offers a balanced assessment of masculine divinity and female divinity. None of the religions give you that. None of the religions give you that. The three world religions are totally masculine from top to bottom. They are totally masculine. The creator is never seen as being the manifestation of divine feminine attribute. The creator is never considered the great divine mother. Never. Never. So for black women in particular, in order to really tap into your divine feminine, you're going to have to tap into the divine feminine attributes of supreme consciousness. No black women, in my spiritual opinion, no black woman, in my spiritual opinion, can reach her highest fulfillment of divine feminine having never addressed the creator from the aspect of the divine feminine. Okay, so that's number one. African spirituality gives you the balance of. Now, God is genderless. God is genderless. God is not man or woman. God is beyond gender. God is spirit, but God is the owner of both the masculine and feminine aspects upon which all creation is based. So there's no such thing as God always being man or God always being woman. God is neither a man or a woman, but the supreme manifestation of divine masculine and feminine. So that's number one. African spirituality is going to give you the balance of divine masculine and feminine. None of the world religions can give you that. Number two, African spirituality is going to allow you, it requires you to build a relationship with your departed family called ancestors. African spirituality requires that you establish relationship with your departed blood relatives, ancestors. We come from God through who? Ancestors. We come from God through who? Ancestors. The ancestors are the chain, the divine chain from which you descend from God to earth. It is the chain of ancestors. And in order to reconnect to God, you must go through the ancestors, not your imam, through your ancestors, not your preacher, through your ancestors, not your priest, through your ancestors, not your rabbi, through your ancestors. You must build a relationship with your ancestors who are the angels. Our ancestors are our angels. Call their names. Ask them for help. Communicate with them. Build a shrine to them. We do not worship our ancestors. There's no such thing as ancestor worship. People call it that, but that is the wrong terminology. There's no such thing as ancestor worship. We do not worship our ancestors. We worship God. We venerate our ancestors. We honor our ancestors. We praise our ancestors. We remember our ancestors. We do not worship our ancestors. Now, let me give you the difference between praise and worship. Let me give you the difference between praise and worship. Let me give you the difference between praise. If you donated to the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy, I may praise you for your donation. If you go down to help our Haitian brothers and sisters suffering from racism at the border, I will praise you for a good job. If you do something to help the community, I will praise you for what you did. There's nothing wrong with praise. We praise the ancestors for being in our life. I will praise anybody who does something good for the black community. When you clap, you praise. When you say thank you, that is a form of praise. Praise is not worship. Praise is worship. When you worship something, you are totally dependent upon that thing for your creation, your survival, your destiny. Worship is a much higher standard. Worship is a much higher standard of honor than praise. You can praise anyone. You only worship God. You can praise the ancestors. You can praise the Orisha. You can praise the Loa. You can praise the Obusum. You can praise the spirit guides, but you worship God. When you worship, you say that you are the reason I exist. When you worship, you say, I could not do anything except by your power. Don't confuse worship with praise. We praise the ancestors. We worship God and only God. Now, we have to now talk about the difference between God and the Supreme Being. Stay with me. Understand, overstand, and understand what I'm saying. Understand, overstand, and understand what I'm saying. Gods have never been supreme beings. I'm going to say it again. I'm going to say it again. A God by definition is a manifestation or an aspect of the supreme being. Gods have never been the supreme being. Shango is not the supreme being. Asar is not the supreme being. Heru is not the supreme being. Obatala is not the supreme being. Mars, Venus, Neptune, they are not the supreme being. They are manifestations, projections, forms of the one. See, people keep telling you that there's one God. People keep telling you that there's one God. No, there's not. There's thousands of them, but there's one supreme being. Gods are lower than the supreme being, like praise is lower than worship. I said God is lower than the supreme being, and praise is lower than worship. There is one supreme being. The forms